Before getting started, I will just clear out everything in the database, and I will start setting up the app. When starting the app, it will set up a bunch of information such as volunteers and channels and my part, which is setting up the videos and video votes. It will set up one video and 101 upvotes and 1 downvotes, and the reason for that is once there's a new user who is uploading video, then it will trigger the extension point for my use case. We can see in the database what I created, which is a new video, and with downvote being 1 and upvote being 101, and the is active, this is false, and it means that the video is now in pending queue. It is not in the active queue. And we can also see in the video votes that the video votes for the video that we just set up is 101 and then 1 downvote. When the GUI loads up, we can see 2 buttons for choosing whether to be a volunteer or an expert in the next sections. I created this window, and then Ziyang actually made another button for actually signing up as a new user and use that account throughout using this app. And we can just click on you can be a volunteer or an expert throughout using this app, just as a simulated login page. When we click on that user, we can actually go into the home page, and whenever a user clicks on a certain page, they will need to close this window before they can interact with anything else. I also made this window, and these 3 buttons and the functions of it are created by my other team members. They're doing use cases related to channels, and my parts are doing the pending queue and the active queue. When we click on the pending queue, we can see the pending queue showing all the videos inside the video queue, just like before in the database. And we can see the video title, the ID, how many upvotes, downvotes, and the comment counts. And here's a refresh button. Typically, you don't have to use it because it will refresh at the right moment, but if it is not refreshing at the right moment, then you can click on refresh manually. If you want to open up a video, you can double click on it, or here's the button that will also open it up. When you open the video, it will show up a video details page with all the information such as the title, how many upvotes, downvotes, how many comments, the video ID, whether it is active or in pending queue, etc. I actually made this window. These comments buttons are from Ifan. He made it because his use case is actually related to suggesting and voting comments, so he actually made these 2 buttons. And here is my main use case, which is voting videos, whether upvoting or downvoting them. When you're voting a video, the information on the left hand side will change. It now has 101 upvotes, 2 downvotes, and 5 comments. Everything will refresh after you've created a vote, and we can actually see that vote now in the video votes, and we can see that this user has now created a video vote, which is a downvote because this is a false in the is upvote section, and we can see the count of all the downvotes being 2 now. If we want to upvote the video, then it will reach the extension point, because then there will be more than 100 upvotes then downvotes, which will trigger the injection of comments and all the users that have upvoted to go and downvote it. Now if we upvote the video, we can see that all the information has changed again, and now in the console we can actually see the YouTube API has already used the user credentials of 102 users and used them to downvote the video on YouTube. It injected the top comment, and then it used the 2 users who upvoted the comment to actually upvote the comment on YouTube itself. That is a basic demonstration of how this works. We can close this out, and we can see the pending queue has now refreshed, showing 0 videos in the pending queue at the moment because it has now moved to the active queue. We can open that and see the new upvotes, downvotes, and the video is actually in the active queue. We can downvote it again and then upvote it again, but now it won't trigger the ingest comment again because the video is already in active queue, so it won't move into active queue again and do all those injections again. So that is a basic demonstration of the UI. The final thing that can be shown is actually the video has now been moved to active queue, and we can see that because the saved video is actually has the is active as true right now, and the upvote count and the downvote count has been updated as well. Now to show the code, actually these are the parts that I've contributed. First of all, it is the video class in the models. It is a class for storing videos. It has all the video attributes, channel ID, anything that we've seen inside the database, inside the video table. And we can see the constructors here creates the video object, and it actually initiates with 0 as the upward or downward counts because they will be updated later. And we have the getter setters for getting information from this video object and the toString that converts this object into a string. We also have video vote, which is quite similar. It has all the information needed for storing a video vote. It has the user ID, which video it is voting on, whether it is an upvote or a downvote. The constructors, getter setters. The setter also returns the video vote, which would be quite useful because later if we want to update the video vote and update it into the database, it would be quite useful for this method to return the video vote and then just store it directly into the video vote repo. Now for the video repo, it is also quite similar. You can find the video by the ID, by title, by URL, and for the video vote, it is also quite similar. It will give you the option to find whether a user have uploaded a video or downloaded a video by using the combination of the user ID and the video ID to find hopefully only one vote, because only one vote should be allowed for each user to each video. The first one finds the number of users that have voted a video, providing the boolean, whether it's upvote, and then the video ID. And then inside the GUI classes, we first have the login screen, just a bunch of buttons and labels. Some of the information will be changed to the user have signed up, but these are Ziyang's contributions. This page is pretty straightforward. It actually it will open up a page using some user's details and then just show the home page logged in as the selected user. Now going to the home page, we have 5 buttons that are, some of them are about channels and 2 of them about videos. My parts are video related, so I created methods for opening up the video queue pages, and these are the methods for that. The first one opens the active queue and the second one opens up the pending queue. These are actually opening up the same video queue. The only difference is that one of them, they're finding videos that are in the active queue, and one of them will be finding videos in the pending queue based on whether the video is active or not. Then we show the dialog of that page, and these 2 methods would just be triggered when mouse is clicked on if you want to go to the pending queue. And now when we go to the video queue, this is my part. It acts both as the video pending queue and the active queue. As mentioned before, the only difference is that it is finding videos in different queues based on whether the video has the attribute is active as true or false. According to that, it will change the title. If it is active queue, then it will show up as an active queue. And inside this GUI class, I have these lines for centering the information inside the table to be aligned in center. I have these lines to set the width of the columns just to make them look nicer and only occupy a more sensible space. For this page, I also written a refresh page content. First it reloads model, then it will force the video list, the JTable, to repaint, to redraw table, and then it will also update the information at the top showing how many videos are there. Another method written in this class is to get the selected video when the selected role is changed, and then whenever the user clicks on the button for entering the video details page, or when they double click on the video, then it's gonna use that information and actually take the user to the new page depending on the video that's selected. And for the double click, we have these lines here. It is actually a normal mouse click, but then you can get the click count from the mouse event, and if there are 2 clicks and then the button is a mouse left button, then it will open up the page. And for opening the video, we can see the code here. We actually tell if one of the video is selected. If the video is not selected, then we won't do anything. This is also to prevent if the button is disabled and then people will click on it. It needs to determine whether this method should be run or not. We also have a try catch block here because sometimes the video has some error, or just to catch any errors and tell the user that this video might be not available to do something with it, and show them an error message instead of a long list of error message in the console. Then when we actually open up the page, again this page is mostly done by me except for the comment buttons, which are by Ifan, and the methods for those comment buttons as well. And in here we have a bunch of information passed in, such as the login user for determining whether the user has already uploaded or downloaded the video, and we also have the video controller for handling the vote video function, and also the video itself to know which video to show. And inside here we have a bunch of template information that is displayed at first, but then after everything is loaded, then a refresh video information method, which would take the information that is from the selected video. It will update the upload count, download count, initialize the button states, and then see whether the user has already voted the video. It will find out which side they voted the video on, and depending on that, set one of the buttons into a disabled state. And I actually have these two variables, Boolean variables, for keeping whether the user has already uploaded or downloaded. And we need this information because even if a button is disabled, and it will still accept user clicks, and we will need to tell if the button should actually react or not. If the user has already uploaded, then this code should not run. We also have a bunch of set text statements, get the most accurate state from the video and whether the video is in active queue or in pending queue. I also have the voting the video, which is my main use case. It is also surrounded in a try catch block, and if anything happens, it will actually tell the user in a J option playing and saying it failed to vote a video. Within the actual statement that is being run, we have the video controller actually helping me to load the video with the login user information and the video ID, whether to upload or download the video. This method of the video controller would actually return an updated video, and this would be saved as the updated video inside the details page. Therefore, it can update the information in real time after a vote is done. And that is basically this GUI class, and we can take a look at the video controller. And again, the video controller is entirely by me. The main functionality here is to actually vote the video. It will require the user video ID boolean of whether this is an upload or download. It will get the video from the repo because it needs to return it, and then it will take the upload count and download count for a calculation later and see whether this video should be moved to the active queue after this vote. And then it will first use the vote exists functionality to tell if this vote already exists, because if the user has already voted, then they either should do nothing because they are voting the same side, or they should update the vote to the different side and redo the calculations. And this method simply uses the video vote repo and find the user's ID and video ID and use them and get the size of it and see if it is 0. If it's not 0, then then the user has already voted the video. It will get the previous vote, update the information in the video vote. It will use the save method of the video votes repo, which will update the old video vote. And then if the user is voting on the same side, which should be prevented because we implemented that in the GUI, if it actually happens, then we don't really need to change anything. We just need to return the updated video, basically returning the same video again. And then we can see if the video vote doesn't exist, the user haven't voted the video yet, then they would actually create a new video vote with the user ID, the video ID, and whether it is an upload or download, and then save it into the video votes. After that's done, the video information will be updated with the new video vote information that is part of the video object attributes. And when that's done, it will create an updated video, and that will be saved in the video repo and return a new upload count and download count. And then with that new updated information, we can finally calculate if there is more than 100 upload counts than the download count. In this case, it will be an extension point. And here we actually have another if statement that's going to tell if the updated video is already in active mode or not. If it is in the active queue, then it means it has already gone through the process of posting the comments into YouTube and downvoting. Then if the video is already active, then don't do anything. If it is not active, then it will get the YouTube URL of the video. First, it will set the video as an active video by using this method, set the state of the video into the new state as active. Then it will save the updated video into the repository. And then here, if the video has been successfully moved to the active queue, then this will return true. And this statement would actually find all of the video votes of this video, that is an upvote, and then we will store all of these video votes in a list. Then we'll use a for loop for each of the user vote. We'll get the user ID of that user, and then we will use a user controller, which I wrote a method. I have this method that finds the user first from the volunteer repository. If it is now found, then we will use the expert repository to find it. If the vote is actually done by an expert, we will also be able to find it if we can't really find it in the volunteers repository. And back to the video controller, we will get that user. Then from the user, we will get their authorization token, which will be used by YouTube API to inject a comment. We will store that in the user token string as a string. Then we will use YouTube API to vote the video. This is going to be a downvote on the YouTube video by using the user token of the user who upvoted the video. And we can actually verify this by actually looking at the console, which actually prints the information instead of actually voting it. So if we go to the database and we're finding all the video votes that has been done to the video, all the authorization tokens of the users who upvoted the video, we can cross-reference with the console log. All the tokens are taken from this list in the database, and we can see if a user has actually downvoted the video on our platform, and their user information will not be used to downvote the video. And then when this is done, we'll start injecting the top comment to YouTube, and this is done by using a comment controller. I actually wrote these two methods inside this controller. So first of all, it will need to get the highest voted comment. It will get the list of all the comments of the video by going to the comments repo and finding all the comments based on the video ID. Then it will keep track of the highest count, the first comment as the highest comment. For all the comments in the comments list, if the current vote is higher than the previous highest, then it will be the new highest comment. By using this loop, we can just find the highest voted comment and return it. And this is quite similar to what we had in the downvote method. First of all, it will need the highest voted comment by using the video ID. Then we have a string. Then we will use the video URL to tell the YouTube API where to find this comment. You need to inject the comment, so it needs the ID of the poster, quite similar to the voter ID that we had before. It will store it. The YouTube API would inject based on the content of the comment. Then it will take the YouTube URL, find the comment, and also use the credential by using the user controller, finally getting the actual authorization token, and use that to inject the comment into the YouTube video page. We can actually see that injecting comment to the same YouTube URL link. Comment content is this is a misleading video. We can actually verify it, see all the comments of that video. The vote count is 2. We can see that this is a misleading video. That is the actual comment content. And then what is left to do is to find all of the upvotes of that comment. Then for each upvote, get the comment voter, basically the same thing as upvoting or downvoting the video, by using all this information and getting the authorization code and using that information to actually post the comments. Inside the YouTube API, all of these methods are written by me. I capture the information and output it in a readable format. That is pretty much all the demonstration for my use case, my participation in creating this project, and that is it. Thanks for watching.